Welcome to the BB3 Blueprint, your monthly self-mastery system. If you want to get lean, strong, energized, and athletic, you are at the right place, my friends. That is what I do. And I am Billy Beck III, as you probably guessed by now. Now, I want to tell you something and we're going to do this a little differently this month. I want to explain the origin of this, how this came about. You see, for many, many years, decades actually, I owned my own gyms and a bunch of trainers worked with me, and people would come see me and I would stand there and tell people what to do. Now, some people came every day. Some people came 3 times a week. Some people came once a week, and some people came once a month. Now, who do you think got the best results? Well, the answer will probably surprise you. It's the people that came once a month, because those people took more accountability. They took more responsibility. And since I didn't see them very often, they really couldn't rely on me to think for them. When someone says, just tell me what to do, I don't want to think, that tells me everything I need to know. They are not going to be successful. Because before you change on the outside, you have to change on the inside. And what I mean by that is, before you change your body, you must first change your mind. We need to learn some things. Then we need to take some action. Then we need to learn from that. And then as we go through the process, day after day after day, we start to develop beliefs. And those beliefs will support you. So I'll give you a really simple example. There's a point where I started traveling. I'd fly around the planet and teach health and fitness professionals every year. And so for a period of time, I was gone. And so I'd set my clients up with other trainers at my center. And about half of them didn't do anything. And I remember flying back from Australia one time, and I was so frustrated. I'm like, I'm supposed to be this great trainer, and then my clients aren't following through. And I'm not saying all of them, but a half of them weren't, and they were set up with other trainers and everything. And I was like, why is that? And this is, like 20 years ago now, maybe 15 years ago. And it occurred to me that too much accountability makes people weak. Too much accountability makes people weak. Because if you don't take responsibility for the results in your life, if you can easily just say, oh, it's the program, it's my trainer. My trainer was gone, so I just didn't know what to do. No, what it comes down, you got to become a devoted and humble student of self-mastery. And those are the people that thrive, not just with their health and their fitness and their performance, but in everything. And so I built the BB3 blueprint after these clients that would come once a month. And then I would give them their plan, their blueprint, their training and nutrition, and they'd go on their way. They'd come back a month later and we do it again. And they coach themselves, they manage themselves, and they really developed a certain level of self-mastery and self-reliance, which carried over into others' life. And then some of the stories they're just really inspiring, of people that had business, didn't have a business, started a business, people that, a woman that had 7 kids and she was overweight her entire life, and then she lost 70 pounds. And so, like, these are just a couple, but we have almost 4,000 of these transformations. And the great bulk of them occurred when people took ownership, and they came like once a month, and they did something that you're doing right here with the blueprint. So I just wanted to lay the foundation for you and explain to you, you have everything you need. In fact, there's really only 2 things anyone needs to achieve anything in life, including body transformation. The first thing is, you need an effective and sustainable plan, a blueprint. And the second thing is, you need the mindset to carry it through. You need to be the type of person that will carry through no matter what life throws in front of you. If you could do those 2 things, then you will be successful. You will be happy. You will be fulfilled, my friend. And so let's dive into it. Let's go through your training program. So as you know, we create MedFit training protocols. MedFit stands for med, is not medical. It stands for minimum effective dose. Now, a lot of people train And when I first moved to Florida from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, I remember it was a Monday and the place was packed. And I took a little video on my phone. And then like 7 years later, when I left to start another training center, I took a video on a Monday and at the same time, and it was packed, right? And then I compared the two videos, and it was like mostly the same people that were always there, but they all looked the same or a little worse. They were doing the training, they were pushing themselves too, but they weren't combining it with the right nutrition. And they really weren't using the mindset in the right way, because why would someone just keep doing something without making the progress? And now if they were happy with the route, that's different. But I knew these people very closely and I saw them all the time, and I knew that they wanted to get better, but they just couldn't put it together. And and with what you have here, you have everything you need. And so the MedFit program is the proper program design that will create the stimulus for your body to change. Because challenge creates the stimulus for change. You want to stimulate the body, but not annihilate it. So when you go through your program, you want to make sure you challenge yourself. Now, how do you know if you are doing that? So the way I build your program is on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do strength or resistance training, where we're challenging the muscles, the bones. We're building the metabolism and muscle and strength, right? On Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we are doing cardiovascular conditioning. We're strengthening the lungs, the circulation, the heart. Also, all of this training stimulates the brain and creates something called neuroplasticity and causes the release of something called BDNF levels, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. You don't need to know anything. That's just big words that make me sound smart, right? But ultimately, what you need to know is that training the way we do will change your brain. It'll change the shape of your brain, the function of your brain, the capabilities of your brain and your nervous system. There's so many good things happening. There's no drug in the world, no quote biohacking thing in the world that can outperform intelligent, consistent training. And you have that right here. So we also start and finish every train session with structural balance and mobility work. That way we prepare the mind and the body to handle that stress we're placing upon it so we can get that stimulus in a safe way. Make sense? All right. So what are the success indicators? Well, think of the word BOSS. It's an acronym, BOSS. The B stands for burn. So if you're on your resistance training days and say you're doing bicep curls, whether you're using a band, dumbbells, whatever, and it starts to burn, that's a good sign. That's the buildup of lactate. And lactate, when it elevated, the body's response is to produce more growth hormone, which growth hormone turns back the clock. It has anti-aging properties. It's great for longevity, but it's really great to get lean, to get stronger, to build muscle, burn fat, all this good stuff. But you have to earn it. And so that's the burn. So if your muscles are burning, that's a success indicator. Oh, out of breath. Now, a lot of people will do cardio, but like whether it's cycling or running or walking, whatever it is, if you do not challenge the body, there's not a stimulus to change. Now, walking is good. Everyone should walk. We should try to get those 7,000 steps minimum per day. That's just activity, though. That's not training. Training is different. Training is challenging, and it has a more robust effect, a greater benefit. So if you don't get out of breath, if you don't elevate your heart rate when you're doing cardio, you're not really going to improve. You're not going to get the benefit. So out of breath, burn, out of breath. The first S, sweat. Whenever you train, whether it's cardio or resistance training, whenever you contract muscles, the byproduct is heat. And if you challenge yourself enough, you start to sweat. Now, sweating is a good indicator that you are doing the work. But if you never sweat when you train, you're probably not doing something quite right. You may be resting too long in between sets. You may be looking at your phone too much, whatever it is. I would invite you to lock in. Put your phone down and just lock in and use it, your training like a movie meditation. Make it sacred. And here's the truth. There's a difference between exercise and training. We don't exercise, we train. We're not lambs, we are lions. If you're the type of person who want to get the most out of life, then you train. You don't exercise. Nothing wrong with exercise. But exercise is usually kind of random and it's more social in a way. It doesn't use the mind with the body. It's just the body and it's different. But so let me explain how to fully understand the difference between exercise and training. You have to know what training is. Training is a sacred act. It is a spiritual process whereby we intelligently and intentionally challenge the mind and body to call forth your highest and best self. So it's not just about how you look. That's the side effect when you train. When people exercise, they're generally focused on just getting the result. They don't like the way they look, so that's their intention with it. When we train, we have the mindset of an athlete. We are here to be, feel, and give our best. And we're going to improve because of that. And we're going to be consistent of it because as we train mind and body together, what happens? Well, we start to wire up our nervous system. We start to enjoy training. Because when someone exercises, they're not conscious of their thoughts. And I saw this firsthand. I mentioned the people that didn't follow a program whenever I wasn't around. What I noticed afterwards, I wish I would have noticed this sooner. I noticed that they would joke around a lot and they really did enjoy being there. And they would tell me they hated me, like jokingly, of course, but I think they meant on some level. And they're just like, oh, what are you going to make me do today? Oh, this sucks. How many more? Oh man, how much time's left? I have so much to do today. Or they just want to chat about other things. And I always redirect them. That's one of the reasons why I'm good at this, because I understood that. But those are the people that didn't do well. They didn't, even the ones that made results, they usually relapsed because they didn't combine the mind with the body. Where the other people that I only see like once a month, or some people that I saw all the time, they had the right mindset. They did it so they could feel good today, not in the long term. And occasionally they would put it all together and have these big bursts of progress, and in between they would sustain it, and then they make another burst of progress. So over time they continuously improved. But those are the people, when they trained, they had the right mindset. So whatever you think about while you train gets linked up. This is called Hebb's rule in neuroscience. Neuroscience 101 states, what fires together wires together. So if while you're training you're complaining, even if it's in your inside voice, you're complaining about how much you can't stand it. Oh, this is so hard. Or you're judging yourself, looking in the mirror saying, oh God, this isn't working. Oh, it's not worth it. Oh man, that is getting linked up with the very thing that will add 12 to 14 years to your life, according to research. Exercise, training, as we call it. So be absolutely aware and conscious of your thoughts. And you're going to have crazy thoughts. You're going to have those negative thoughts from time to time. Just catch it, laugh at yourself because it's funny, right? We create our reality. We create our bodies. So what we want to do is just notice it, and that's victory. And then shift it. And like, what's a better thing to think about right now? Like, every rep is making me stronger. Challenge creates change. I'm stimulating my body, not annihilating it. I love this shit. You start to wire that up. And after about 3 or 4 months of doing that, you just wake up that way and you really, really look forward to training. I know it may sound crazy if you're not there yet, but I promise you that is how it works. If you're a human and you have a brain that works, and I know you do, then you can do this. Absolutely. So that's the overview of the training, right? Now, one thing with the training tactic we use to keep us on time is what's called a time circuit. A time circuit would be something like on your program, you'll have an 8-minute time full body metabolic circuit, right? So what that means is you're going to have 3 exercises. And the one I'm looking at right now is stationary lunge, jump squat, and body weight squat. And it's 8 minute time full body metabolic circuit. So what that means is you're going to set a timer for 8 minutes. You're going to do 8 stationary lunges on each side. Then, with as little rest as possible, you're going to do 8 jump squats. You're going to need to rest though. Now, if you're really out of breath, rest. Okay? There's nothing wrong with resting as long as you're challenging yourself. After those jump squats, you're going to do 8 body weight squats. Then rest it only as much as needed and carry on. Just keep repeating that process again and again and again until time expires. Make note of how many rounds you complete. Each week, you want to surpass what you did the previous week. It's really important to make that intention. It's not always going to happen, but I want you to start tracking that and stay on point. Because if you can't if you're not improving from the previous week, that means your body isn't recovering fully. And so if that occurs, what do? Well, here's your checklist. This is super cool. And it will prevent you from getting a cold. It'll prevent you to have these immune fluctuations. It will allow you to make adjustments before they show up on the scale, for instance. So here are your recovery factors checklist. So week 1, you did 3 rounds on your circuit, right? The next week, you're like, I'm going to do at least 3 rounds and 1 extra rep, or I'm going to increase the resistance. You're going to do your best to improve. Let's say you did it. Carry on, celebrate it. That's awesome. Your body's recovering. Let's say you gave everything you got, but you just couldn't do it this week. That means your body needs some support. So, number 1, sleep. How is your sleep? Are you sleeping enough? Is it interrupted? If so, we can address that. And a lot of times it's just making it a priority and going to sleep on time. 2, are you eating enough food? The way we measure that in the human body is through what we call calories. That's like gallons of gasoline in a car. Very simple. But a lot of times when people are trying to lose weight, they just don't eat enough or they're fasting. And so what we want to do is we want to make sure you don't lose muscle either. We don't want to slow down your metabolic rate if we can. And so we need to make sure, and we also don't want you to get tweaked, like injured, or to get a cold. We want to support your body. So we're going to give it more nourishment to eat more food. The third thing, protein. Protein, like if you snap your fingers, millions of cells die. You have trillions of cells in your body. Millions die every second and must be rebuilt and reborn, regenerated. That process of rebuilding cells, tissue, is called protein synthesis. So you need to have a certain amount of dietary protein each day. So the formula that I like to use, because it's the middle of the range, you could eat a little less and be fine. You can eat more and that'd be even better. But take your body weight in pounds times 0.8. I know we have people from all over the world, so if you use the metric system, one kilogram equals 2.2 pounds. So you can just convert that. All right. So your body weight in pounds times 0.8. That's how much protein you want to get approximately each day to support your body's healing and recovery. So we talked about sleep. We talked about eating enough calories. We talked about protein. What's next? Hydration. Hydration isn't just the fluid you intake. It's also electrolytes, mineral consumption. So primarily sodium, potassium, and magnesium. Sodium, potassium are the main ones. So ideally you get that through your food, but if not, you could always use it like an electrolyte supplement. You probably don't need it unless you're just sweating a ton, like if you're using a sauna or you're training outsides and you're sweating a lot. Otherwise, you can just get it. You can have unsweetened, like here's Mother Nature's Gatorade, so to speak. You take a half a liter, about 500 milliliters of unsweetened coconut water that has a lot of potassium and it has some magnesium in it, a little bit of magnesium, and then take a pinch of natural salt like red mint salt or any type of salt. It doesn't really matter as long as there's sodium in it, and salt is sodium chloride. And so it's like about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and then add a little bit, this is bonus, a little bit of citrus, lemon or lime. And that citric acid will enhance the absorption of those minerals. And there you have You take like a half of a lemon or half of a lime, and that would be sufficient. You also get some vitamin C and bioflavonoids. So it's a nutrient dense drink. It's great for recovery, great for hydration. So how much fluid? Body weight in pounds, divide it in half. So if you weigh 200 pounds, cut that in half, 100 ounces per day, which is about 3 liters. Okay, real simple stuff. And that's the first thing you want to focus on really is getting your hydration in. So after you get your sleep, after you eat enough food, after you're not eating too much, you're not eating too little, right? And then you get your protein in, you're hydrated. The next thing you look at is omega-3 fatty acids. So these come from fish like salmon, sardines, or supplements, fish oil supplements or krill oil supplements, primarily. You can also get it from flaxseed and chia seeds. There's something called basil seeds I just learned about that has it in there too. Um, oh, but you want to get about 2 to 4 grams of omega-3 fatty acids per day. And what this does is it's Mother Nature's anti-inflammatory and cognitive enhancer. And so omega-3s, whenever you get enough of them regularly, there's a lab test we can run to do this. I do it with my coaching clients frequently. But if you're in the undesirable range, you don't get enough omega-3s regularly, and then you get to the desirable range, on average, you live 5 years longer. How interesting is that? Now it's a 30 plus year study. And so it's a little thing you could do each day. You could just take a supplement, actually. Um, and that will have a profound effect on your health in the long term. It's not like you take it in caffeine and you feel it right away. It's this little thing that supports your health, that supports your brain and your nervous system. And so you can't go wrong with that. So after you get your omega-3s, what's next? It's the X factor. This is mental and emotional distress. So if you're not getting stronger in the from the previous week, that's what we're talking about here, right? This is the recovery factor checklist. If you're not, it could be something you need to resolve. You could be fighting with someone that's close to you, arguing, and you need to forgive them, or you need to have a conversation. It could be financial stress. It could be any type of stress that is keeping you up at night, or any type of stress that you feel in your body. Now, I won't go into deep explanation of this, but in the scientific literature, this is called thought-driven physiology. And put simply, your brain does not know the difference between something you imagine and something that's actually happening to you. So if we're thinking about worrying about things that could go wrong, we're having a fear or stress response. When our body is in fear-based emotions chronically, the cells break down faster than they can be rebuilt. So you have accelerated aging. Your immune system is suppressed. So you're more likely to get a cold or something like that. You're more susceptible anyway. But the really simple thing here to understand is there are two types of stress. There's beneficial stress, like when you exercise and train intelligently, and that's called eustress. So the word stress with EU in front of it. And then there's the type of stress that is destructive, that we're not healing from. So if you train for 3 hours a day and just beat the heck out of your body, that isn't eustress. That is what's called distress. And the way we counteract that is by reducing the workload, if that's what someone's doing, and then supporting their nutrition, their sleep, and all these other things we're talking about. But that's the recovery factor checklist. And that is how you know, that's how you make adjustments before it shows up on the scale, or before you get an injury, or before you get a cold or anything like that. It's how you stay ahead of these things. That is also how you customize and personalize your training. That's one of the factors. That's one of the ways of doing that. And if you ask 99.9% of the trainers and health professionals in the world, do not know what I just shared with you. So I just really want to emphasize, write that down. And this month, make this a priority. Focus on, hey, I'm going to track how many rounds I complete my workouts. And then if I'm not improving, I'm going to give it my best. But if I'm not, I'm going to go through this recovery checklist and make adjustments and see, because you learn best by doing it. We learn best through experience. Now, I just wanted to point that out. And then that's the training protocols for this month, right? Now we have the nutrition part. I'm not going to go too much. It's really simple, but there's one part I really want to explain to you because this is a really cool strategy we use. A lot of times when someone follows the diet or nutrition plan, it's so restrictive that people feel that, oh, I can't sustain this. I can't keep this up. So we're using a strategy this month that I've used many times before, very successfully. And here's the overview. When you look at the PDF here, it will say like week at a glance, right? And on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when you're doing your resistance training, you're going to need more energy. So on those days, you're going to have what we call fuel meals, when you have protein, carbs, and vegetables 3 times a day. Now, on your cardio days, we're going to have fire meals. It's just protein, some good fats, and vegetables. And you're going to have that 3 times a day. Now, on all the days, you can have up to 300 free calories. So what that means is free calories are anything you want. But by giving you a number, you're going to learn about food. Because when you start to compare foods, like how many calories, how much energy is in different foods, and how much you can eat without repercussions, it becomes very enlightening. So you're like, oh, I can have 2/3 of a piece of pizza, maybe. Depends on the type of pizza. But I give you a list of some foods to give you some ideas. And when you realize there are certain foods you can eat a ton of because there's hardly any calories in it and they really fill you up. But you can eat anything you want, just 300 calories every day. How cool is that? Now on Sunday, this is more for longevity and mental mastery. You're going to fast. So you're not going to eat anything up until 12 p.m. on Sunday. Then you're going to have 2 fuel meals and also up to 300 free calories. Now, on this day, you don't have training scheduled, but go for a walk and if you can do it outdoors, that's even better. But try to hit those 10,000 steps or more. Be active that day and really enjoy yourself. If you play sports or you like to shoot hoops or golf or, whatever it is, go out and do it. Play tennis or just bounce a ball around, whatever it is. Just get outside and do some fun stuff and start to train your mind to be active, to be athletic, because you're an athlete, my friend. So, all right, that's what we got. I know I went a little longer than expected, but I just wanted to walk you through this so that I'm in your corner. And I also just want to affirm that what you have here is the treasure map. But with any treasure map, it's not easy to get to the treasure. But it is simple. You follow the plan. And the biggest thing is if you find yourself not following through on these things, it will always come back to the mindset. Do you have a clear, inspiring, compelling North Star? Something you're looking forward to experiencing. And ultimately, your North Star is your guiding light. And so go back to the North Star process and get clear on it. If you have any questions on it, just reach out to us and we'll help you out. But I really want you to enjoy this process because if you dig it, you'll always do it, my friend. The great Juan Carlos Santana told me that way back in the day, and I never forgot it. It stuck with me. But get clear on what you want, why you want it, and how you need to show up to joyfully breathe life into this. Till next time, my friends, you were born a lion, not a lamb.
You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.